Hi, Denise Bain here. Welcome to my channel. Well, Proverbs 21:11. Senseless people learn their lessons the hard way, but the wise are teachable. And that is an absolutely. Absolutely, we are teachable. We just have to open our heart. We just have to open our eyes. We just have to open our minds and let all the bubbles flow. I used to tell my son when he was little, I used to feel his forehead, feel his head. I said, boy, that sure is boiling up there. I'm sure there's a lot going on. And, I think that positive things for people, a child, an adult, teenager, an old person, anybody, they need praise. And, I think that every day we should praise each other. And I want to tell you, each day is blessed. Each day we have is blessed. Also, you want to understand yourself, okay? Things happen, but we never talk about it. And you can even talk about it among yourself in your mind, or you can write things down. Now, some people sweep things under the rug, especially like if you have an argument with a family member. You just sweep it under the rug. Well, that rug gets really dirty under there. And after a while, that's hard to clean. You just can't clean it. And, you don't want to feel like that you're being bullied. This is even in a family situation. You don't want to feel like that you're being pushed to do something you don't want to do. Also, remember, you have boundaries. Even with family, you have boundaries. And if you've never had the boundaries, of course, when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of boundaries. Mom, Dad, they just didn't give the boundaries. So therefore, that spills over into siblings, and when you start making your own boundaries is when people start reacting. If my son and daughter-in-law, we have our boundaries, and we know we have our boundaries. That's normal. That's what you're supposed to do, is have boundaries. But if you take something and if there's an argument and you sweep it under the rug, guess what? You are just saying, don't worry about it. We're going to go on. Well, guess what? Somebody in that's going to get hurt. Because there are consequences to everything. Remember, your words count. Whether they are one-time word, whether they are repeated to you, whether they are in writing, whether they are verbally. Words are words. And it's just like affirmation words. They're just positive. Absolutely. You get asked to do something, absolutely. That is positive. So understanding yourself and understanding what you want to do with your boundaries, with your life. Just know that you're blessed. And I want to say, don't live your life like somebody else. Never. You're not going to be happy. Always be happy with yourself. Always. Now, there may be things that you may want to change about yourself. I'm not happy with everything about myself, but I'm going to change. And I'm going to change for me, and I'm going to change me. I'm not going to change for somebody else. I'm not going to change to be like somebody else. I don't want to be anybody else. I want to be Denise Bain. And, when you have somebody that chooses, I choose a favorite color, well, then that person chooses a favorite color, and it's your color. Or you decide to do a project, craft, or whatever, and that person, I want to try that. Well, is it that they're not happy with themselves? I don't know that. I'm not a counselor. I can't say that. But I want to say that you have to be happy with yourself. Inside and out, you have to be happy with yourself. Sometimes, when I was growing up, we never had times where we sit down and talked about feelings, in other words. But I wanted, when my child was growing up, I wanted an open door. You come to me, you talk to me. I want to know. Just know that your self-esteem is a big circle. It's a big part of your life. And if you don't have high self-esteem, or even just mediocre self-esteem, then it's gonna come out in you. And you see the way models, I'm not going to bring up a certain names or anything, but you see the way they present themselves. And they are tall, they are poised, because they have learned what to do on the outside, but they've also learned what to do on the inside to make the outside come out pretty. Because you can't just be pretty on the outside. If your heart's not pretty, you're not pretty. But I'm not saying you're not pretty, so I don't want nobody going, oh my gosh, you said I wasn't pretty. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying my heart, your heart, it needs to be pretty. And it doesn't need to be pretty just just out in the public. It needs to be pretty behind closed doors. Your heart needs to be pretty everywhere. Because if you go out and you're so pretty and you're so telling people how much they love you, how much you love them, and then you come home and you talk about them. Well, that's not being pretty. So I want you to see that you love yourself, okay? Love yourself first. So if you are unhappy today, if you feel like you're just blah, then get up, go look in the mirror, and say, I love you. See you tomorrow.